millions of views, sold-out shows, fans screaming their names across the Muslim world. And then, it all fell apart. Contracts, controversy, diss tracks, and a brotherhood that would never be the same again.
I'm just going to be completely honest, the past 7 days have been very emotionally draining.
This is the story of Deen Squad, the rise, the fall, and the legacy that still divides Muslim music today. Before the viral hits, before the debates, before millions of people knew their names, two young men in Ottawa were quietly working on something different. One was Zaher, later known as Karter Zaher, a Lebanese Canadian with a deep love for music and production. The other was Joshua Asare, later known as J. Deen, a Ghanaian Canadian who had embraced Islam at just 15 years old and carried his faith with pride. They were friends, creators, dreamers, and they had a bold idea. What if hip-hop could carry a message of faith? What if young Muslims could hear music that sounded modern, but still reflected their values? At the time, nobody realized how powerful that idea would become. Their earliest name was Salat Squad, centered around reminders of prayer and Islamic values. But the name soon evolved into something simpler: Deen Squad. Deen meaning faith, the foundation of their message. The goal was clear: use music to inspire young Muslims while keeping their identity strong. It was something the internet had rarely seen before, and the timing was perfect. Their big moment came through something unexpected: halal remixes. Instead of promoting partying or heartbreak, they rewrote popular songs with lyrics about prayer, modesty, and faith. And incredibly shareable. Then came the track that truly changed everything: Muslim Man. The video exploded online, gaining millions of views and spreading across social media. Young Muslims around the world felt seen in a way they hadn't before. One fan wrote in the comments, "Deen Squad made me proud to be Muslim and young." Another said, "They helped me reconnect with my faith." The movement was growing fast, and the songs kept coming. Trap Queen, Gad's Plan, their halal spin on Drake's hit. Collaborations with artists like Harris J. Each release pushed them further into global attention. Soon the media noticed. Major outlets like the BBC and CBC began covering their rise. What started as YouTube uploads had become a global phenomenon. Their concerts brought together huge crowds of young Muslims. Fans waved hijabs in the air, phones lit up the crowd. And for many, it was the first time they had seen a space where faith and modern culture existed together. For supporters, Deen Squad represented something powerful, a generation that refused to choose between identity and creativity. For J. Deen especially, the mission was deeply personal. After converting to Islam as a teenager, he understood what it felt like to search for belonging. Their music wasn't just entertainment. It was a representation. It told young Muslims that they could be confident in their faith while still engaging with modern culture. But with influence comes attention, and attention often brings criticism.
The Deen Squad simply take rap music and they put their own lyrics with Allah, the Prophet on it. And I ask you, how does that become halal?
Not everyone supported what they were doing. Some scholars questioned whether music with instruments was permissible. Others criticized the energy at their concerts. Videos showed crowds cheering, dancing, and screaming with excitement. For critics, that raised concerns. One commentator argued that while the message might be positive, the atmosphere could cross certain boundaries, but fans strongly disagreed. To them, Deen Squad created something rare, a space where young Muslims felt included. The debate spread across social media and communities worldwide. During a tour in South Africa, tensions escalated to a new level. Protests emerged from groups who believed the concerts were inappropriate. Some events were canceled. Others continued under intense scrutiny. Deen Squad had become more than musicians. They had become a symbol, and symbols are often controversial. But the biggest challenges weren't happening on stage. They were happening behind the scenes. As their fame grew, differences between the two artists started to appear. Karter wanted to experiment creatively and expand into new sounds. Jay leaned more towards spiritually focused content and meaningful messaging. Late nights in the studio gave way to difficult conversations. The music that once united them was slowly pulling them apart. Then another twist shook the community. Muslim artist Omar Essa released a track titled Deen Squad, which many listeners interpreted as a diss. The The song criticized aspects of the duo's approach to music and fame. Online debates exploded. Supporters defended Deen Squad. Critics said the track reflected deeper concerns within the community. What had started as a creative movement was now surrounded by controversy. Years later, another piece of the story emerged. Karter Zaher revealed in a video that the duo had faced serious problems with management. According to him, contracts and industry pressure created deep conflicts behind the scenes. He explained that young artists often sign agreements without fully understanding them. At one point, he said he felt pushed out of the group he helped build, not by fans, not even directly by his partner, but by the system surrounding them. It was a painful lesson in the realities of the music industry, and it marked the end of Deen Squad. After the breakup, both artists moved in different directions. Karter continued exploring music independently and shared advice for new artists entering the industry. Deen focused more on spiritually grounded content and community outreach. The partnership that once dominated Muslim YouTube had come to an end. For many fans, it felt like the closing of an era. But the story of Deen Squad didn't disappear. Their videos still circulate online. Millions continue to watch the songs that first introduced halal remixes to the world. Some people still debate whether their approach was right or wrong. Others simply remember the excitement they created. But one thing is undeniable. They changed the conversation. They showed that Muslim youth could participate in modern creativity while still talking about faith. They opened a door that many artists would walk through later. Some say Deen Squad went too far. Others say they didn't go far enough. But whether you supported them or criticized them, their impact is impossible to ignore. Two young men from Ottawa took an idea that seemed unlikely and turned it into a global movement. A movement that sparked debate, inspired millions, and reshaped the relationship between faith and music. And years later, the echo of that moment remains.